Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Flow and Restore yoga practice. Welcome to our new space. Let's take a moment to gather the props, if you haven't, that you have around you, such as a bolster, a blanket, 2 blocks, and a strap. And we're going to have an all-around physical opening practice as we had a request for relieving stress. So definitely we'll dive into various forms of pranayama or breath work to help with that. But of course, the physical release should also be of support as well as sitting in meditation. So let's take a moment to arrive, settle in, find a comfortable way to sit. Maybe that entails sitting on any of your props. Here's a very simple and profound, I think, quote from the late mindfulness teacher who is my favorite, Thich Nhat Hanh. And he said that spiritual practice is not just sitting and meditating. Practice is looking, thinking, touching, drinking, eating, and talking. Every act, every breath, and every step can be practice and can help us become more ourselves. I love that. It's just a reminder that here is our formal practice, but it doesn't end here, right? Our practice is in our daily moments whenever we are conscious that we are in the moments. We are conscious that we're breathing in and we're breathing out, feeling our aliveness. And at the end of that quote, he says that all these practices in everyday life can help us become more ourselves. What does that mean? Become more ourselves? Are we not already ourselves? In yoga philosophy, it talks about root causes of suffering. And one of those causes was forgetting our true nature, that we are not our thoughts, that we are not the ego voicing what we should or shouldn't be doing and conforming to from external influences or cultural upbringing. And as we really dive into the simplicity and depth of being where you are in what you're doing, just sitting here, listening to me talk, whatever that may be, we can allow ourselves to come home to our true nature, to be who we really are. And all that stress, right? How we're relating to what's happening around us or what's happening in our minds. We can see them for what they are and rest in our true nature. And so I see our yoga practice, including the asanas, the physical postures, as a way to sort of shed the layers of what we are not and what we have accumulated, forgetting who we are. I really dive into the purity of being, which is so counterintuitive with our culture here in the West of constantly doing, meeting deadlines, having to do this, pay attention to that. Here's a lot of media to influence you all at once. And so as we pause all that, come into the simplicity of our breaths, connect with our sensations in our bodies, observe our minds, and remember that we are not just our minds, then we can naturally touch that peace that is always within. We can remember that it's there. So let's take a moment to pause and do just that. Begin to do that. As you let your body be still, become aware of what is supporting your body from beneath. Just feel into that physical support and how your weight is distributed into that seat. You might even shift around just to feel it a little more dynamically. And from there, begin to scan within your body, observing any sensations, noticing the aliveness of the bottoms of your feet, sensing your ankles and legs. What do you notice? Maybe there's a pulsation, a heaviness, a lightness, a contraction, a release, without having to judge what you are observing as either good or bad. Continue to scan the rest of your body just to acknowledge what is happening right now. You might even sense the weight of parts of your body resting on other parts, such as maybe your arms resting on your thighs or your head on top of your neck. And then notice if you can feel the breath move. No need to change it or control it. Can you feel the breath coming in through the nose? Can you feel where it expands in your body naturally? What do you notice about the breath? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it deep or shallow? And how's the breath letting you know about your nervous system and how your energy feels right now? And sense the state of your mind. Does your mind feel heavy with thoughts? Does it feel spacious? Anything you can observe about your mental state without judging yourself. Do you sense any emotions, energy in motion moving through you? And then allow the breath through the nose to enter just a little bit slower. Can you feel it move in the body? And then as you open the mouth, releasing the breath. Take your time to slowly deepen the breath a little more each new inhalation and exhalation. Letting out a few more breaths to your mouth. Can you feel the very top of the next inhalation? And just pause there for a few seconds while relaxing and observing how it feels. And then as you release the breath through the mouth, taking your time to feel it all the way out, and then pause when the breath has emptied for another few seconds and just notice how that feels. I invite you to try it once more. How slowly can you let the breath in, holding it in? How slowly can you let it go, holding it out? Bringing this practice of just observing without judging, cultivating a sense of curiosity of the present moment, mindfulness into the rest of what we explore in this yoga practice today. Setting the tone by how you're connecting to your breathing right now. And if the mind wants to start rushing things, breathe a little faster or anticipate what we're going to do next. Can you notice when the mind starts to do that and allow yourself to pause? Bring in the support of patience and curiosity, honoring the next moment as something brand new that you've never experienced before. I invite you to take a moment to bring gratitude into our practice, acknowledging one or a few things, maybe about today or this past weekend, that you appreciate as blessings in your life, no matter how small. Connecting to the energy of your heart with gratitude. From there, I invite you to ask your heart what it needs right now to guide you in setting your intention for this practice. What does your heart need right now? And if your attention starts to wander off into past, future, remind yourself of what your intention is and let that bring you back into the present moment, refocusing. And now remember that our practice is not only to serve our benefit, but it is so that we can be of better service to the world around us as well and support each other. And so, with that in mind, I invite you to think of someone or a group of beings that you would like to dedicate this practice to, extending loving kindness to them through your practice tonight. And together, let's chant to open the practice. And it's also one of the ways to relieve stress. It helps to tone the vagus nerve. So let's chant 3 times Om, connecting to the vibration at the center of our Mother Earth, pausing at the end of each Om to honor. So let's breathe in to start. Om. 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 So we're going to start moving in a moment. Let's set the pace for our movements and invite balanced energy, calm, and focus while we move by practicing a breathing technique called Ujjayi Pranayama, which means victorious breath. So closing your mouth, softly constrict the back of your throat. Begin to create a very gentle whispering sound to your breath. And as you listen to your breathing, lengthen your inhales to the very top And lengthen your exhales to the very bottom, balancing the length of each in and out breath. And take your time to smoothen out the transitions between the breath. No rush. Setting the pace for how we'll move our bodies mindfully, slowly, and steadily. Let's come into one of the physical movements that also helps to tone the vagus nerve, activates the rest and digest nervous system. So come on down to hands and knees, tabletop pose. Spread your fingers wide at the front of your mat. Stack your shoulders on top of your wrists and step your knees a couple of inches behind your hips to prepare for cat-cow pose, Vidalasana. As you breathe in, glide your chest forward and coil it up, entering cow pose. As you breathe out, contract your belly, drop your head to round the back, entering cat pose. A few more times, inhale, roll your shoulders back and down, looking up. Exhale, lift the belly, drop the head, rounding the spine. As you keep going at your pace, if your body needs to move in a different direction, feel free to explore. For example, you might lengthen the movements as you round the back, sinking your hips towards your feet into child's pose. Or you might sway the pelvis laterally left and right, or shake the head no. Trusting your body's intelligence to let you know what it needs in each moment of your practice, including variations of poses or whether to opt out and just rest. So keep going, a few more breaths. And when you're ready, I invite you to lift your hips high, draw your thighs back, entering downward facing dog. Spend the first few breaths there, shifting around any way you might need to move and loosen up. For example, pedaling your feet in place to warm up the backs of your legs. Shaking and nodding your head to help relax your neck as you lift your shoulders back away from it. Maybe swiveling your hips side to side as you pedal the feet, stretching the sides of the torso and your outer hips. Spread your fingers wide and flat. Lift your hips high and draw them back. Begin to find stillness for a few breaths of Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And even though the body's still, rotate the triceps downward, open up space across the shoulders. Draw your weight towards the rear of your mat, sinking it down through the heels. Maybe you keep the knees bent. One more cycle of breath. When you've emptied it, step up to the front of your mat into a standing forward fold. Separate your feet at least hips width apart, parallel to each other, and bend your knees a lot as you reach the hands behind your back to clasp or hold a strap between. As you inhale, lift the chest and lengthen your spine forward, rolling the shoulders back. As you exhale, fold in a little deeper, dropping your skull. Stretch the arms away from your lower back and lift your shoulders away from the neck. Maybe you sway the spine. Maybe you shake and nod the head. How is your breathing right now? Stay aware of it. Press your hands either on two blocks, your shins, or the ground. And as you inhale, lengthen your spine forward into a half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Press down with your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, rising all the way up to stand. Gently lifting the chest as you roll the shoulders back and down. And then exhale, gather your palms in prayer from your crown to your heart center, standing tall in mountain pose. Feel the energy with which you're moving your body and even holding still. Can you consciously bring your intention into this, the energy of your intention? And let's take a moment to offer gratitude to the energy we receive through the sun, through the nourishment of our planet, through the sun, Surya Namaskar C, moving to the breath. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and lift your heart towards the sky. Exhale, bow towards the earth. Place your fingertips on the ground. Inhale, step your left knee behind you. Kneeling lunge, look up. As you hold your breath, step to plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, then your chest, then your chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slither forward, drawing your shoulders back and down to cobra. Exhale, lifting your hips, draw your thighs back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee, gaze up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Pressing down to your feet, inhale, rise. Find a gentle back bend at the top. Then exhale, recenter your palms at the heart. Second side, inhale, sweep the arms overhead in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow forward in Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips down. Inhale, step your right knee back. Anjaneyasana. Hold your breath as you step to plank. Then Ashtangasana. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin. Inhale, slide forward into cobra. Exhale, draw your hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb. Lower the left knee, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and fold. Rooting down, inhale, rise. Exhale, recenter, palms in prayer, mountain pose. All right, I'm going to invite you here into a balancing posture. I know it's kind of early. We have a shorter time in our vinyasa flow. So when I do get it in, as I believe it is helpful in feeling more grounded in moments of stress. Tree pose. So take a moment to spread your weight throughout the four corners of each foot. Spread your toes, activate the muscles in your legs by pressing into the ground through the feet and lifting the energy up to your crown. Steady your breathing. Remember, the balance that we're asking our bodies to do has to start inside. So start with a breath. Connect to the balance of energy you're creating through the balance in the steadiness and easefulness of your breathing. Join your hands in prayer and steady your gaze on one point in front of you. Take your time. There's no rush. I'm going to mirror you here. So as you shift your weight onto your left foot, turn out your right thigh at the hip and hug the sole of your right foot against your inner left ankle. Keep the toes on the ground and press firmly into the midline of your body, just like your palms. Stand tall, breathe, relax the shoulders, maybe lift the corners of the lips. You could stay here. Otherwise, if your balance feels really stable right now and you want more challenge, lift the sole of the foot higher onto your inner calf or place it on your inner thigh, just not against your knee. Whatever height you've placed the right foot, doesn't matter. Are you listening to your body right now? Are you practicing presence through conscious breath, conscious placement of the body? You might add raising the arms if your balance feels steady enough. Last two breaths in Vrikshasana, tree pose. Bringing your hands together at your heart, gently step your right foot next to the left and just pause. Maybe close the eyes. Allow a couple deep breaths to feel the energy you have practiced with. Whatever kind of energy you are choosing to practice with is the energy you are strengthening. So, what do you choose to strengthen? We can practice with aggression and impatience. We can practice with patience and love. All right, feel your breath, feel the balance you're establishing internally before you ask your body to manifest it. Steady your gaze. Take your time, shift your weight onto your right foot. Turn open the left thigh at the hip. Start by hugging the sole of your left foot against your inner right ankle, keeping the toes on the floor. And notice how your balance feels here. Is there tension in the face? Is there tension in the breath? If not, then you might play with raising the foot higher onto your calf or your thigh, just not your knee. You don't get a medal for where you place your foot. It's really, how are you relating to the present moment right now with whatever you're doing here in the body and the posture? You might explore variations of the arms. Feel the energy that you're practicing this pose with and tune in for 2 more breaths. Gently step back to mountain pose and maybe close the eyes as you observe the effects of that. All right, let's come back to mountain pose at the top of your mat. And we're going to flow down to our yin practice. So inhale, sweep your arms overhead, coil your chest up. Exhale, forward fold. Press with your hands, inhale, lengthen halfway up. Take a version of vinyasa that you choose, cat-cow, chaturanga, knees, chest, chin, cobra, or upward dog. Then arriving in downward facing dog, pause for 2 breaths. Cultivate stillness, steady your gaze, listen to your breathing. Now from downward dog, turn out your right thigh at the hip and cross your right shin in front of your pelvis, lowering to sit for single pigeon pose. Take a moment to place the hands alongside your hips and turn both of your hips to equally face the front of your mat. If there's a gap between your right glute and the ground, fill that gap with your blanket or any other prop. If your right shin is comfortably parallel to the front edge of your mat, and it's going to stay that way, so flex your right foot the entire pose, support your knee. Then relax the back foot, untuck the toes, lift your chest. And very gently, you can stay up here or you can start to bow forward, catching your torso and head with your pillow, your blocks, anything you have around you so that you can surrender into the pose and not contract in the pose. So as much as possible, relaxing for the next 2 minutes before we switch sides. Let the sound of your breathing, that ocean sound of Ujjayi breath, help to relax you in the mind. Take your time. Be gentle with yourself as you transition back into downward facing dog. Spend a few breaths there, whether holding still or pedaling your feet or raising your right leg and circling it at the hip. What is your body asking you to do to help you transition sides? As you listen to your breathing, when you're ready, turn out your left thigh at the hip, cross your left shin in front of your pelvis, lower to sit with your right leg straight behind you, single pigeon pose. Take a moment to square your hips to equally face forward and to place a prop under the left glute if that helps. Flex your left foot if your left shin is parallel to the front of your mat to stabilize your knee. And then relax your back toes and use any props you might need to catch you as you begin to bow forward if you're going that direction. Connect to your breath. Remember how powerful yet simple the breath is in supporting your nervous system and your body's reaction to these poses. Once again, be gradual as you start to come out of this pose and return to downward facing dog. Spending a few moments there, shifting or holding still as your body is asking. Let's pause in child's pose for a few breaths, stretching the arms forward, drawing the hips back and down, and just resting the head on the earth or on a prop. Feel the breath in, expanding into the left and right walls of your rib cage. Feel the breath out, softening the muscles in between the ribs, softening the belly. You might like to take a side stretch, crawling the hands over to the right and staying for a few breaths on your own before you crawl the hands to the left and stay a few breaths. And coming back to your center, gently roll your spine upright. Please find a comfortable way to sit. I'm going to invite you into another couple pranayama practices before we do more supine postures, which will lead us towards corpse pose. So you may like to sit on your bolster and take a moment to position your body so that you can breathe well. Going to invite you into two breathing practices, one after the other. The first helps to cleanse your lungs and it helps to uplift your energy. When done regularly, like daily, each morning when you get up, it can be a helpful way to spark joy in your daily life. It's a regular part of my morning practice, and it's called bellows breath, Bhastrika Pranayama. And it's also helpful to bring clarity to the mind. If your thoughts are racing, it helps to kind of calm them down as well. So I'm going to explain each breathing technique and then we'll go into them one after the other without the explanation. So bellows breath is done by closing the lips, breathing just through the nose. And there's a physical movement in which you bend the elbows apart like this, make hands like this. You close the eyes, turn the gaze towards the third eye center. And we'll breathe in deeply through the nose while raising the arms, stretching the fingers. And as you breathe out just as deeply through the nose, you bend the elbows towards the side ribs and make fists with the hands like this. So that's bellows breath, Bhastrika Pranayama. We'll practice that for 1 minute. And then afterwards, I'll invite you into alternate nostril breathing, which is a very calming breathing technique that helps you to wake up your intuition or connect to it and focus inward. It also helps to balance your yin and yang energies. It's done by resting the left hand on the lap. Might bring the thumb and first finger to touch to help tune inward. And the right thumb, pinky, and ring fingers stick out of the right hand. You're going to use the right thumb to close the right nostril like this, and the right ring and pinky to close the left nostril like this. Alternate nostril breathing, closing the lips and breathing very gently through the nose. We'll be practicing 3 cycles together and 3 cycles on your own. So 1 minute bellows breath, brief pause to observe, then 6 cycles of alternate nostril breathing. Nodi Shodhana Pranayama. All right, relax your body, sit tall, turn your gaze inward if you like, closing the physical eyes and tuning into your third eye center. Watching the clock now for 1 minute of bellows breath. Bend the elbows apart, make fists with your hands and close the lips. Ready? Begin. Equal depth in and out. 30 more seconds. Ten more seconds. And relax and observe. Breathe naturally. Rest the left hand on the lap, maybe Gyan Mudra. Stick out the right thumb, pinky, and ring fingers. Close the lips. Empty this breath. Alternate nostril breathing. Cover the right nostril with the right thumb. Inhale through left for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it in. 2, 1. Close left. Exhale right for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it out. 2, 1. Inhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close right. Exhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Second cycle, inhale left, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close left, exhale right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close right, exhale left, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Third cycle, inhale left, 6. Hold 2. Close left, exhale right, 6. Hold 2. Inhale right, 6. Hold 2. Close right, exhale left, 6. Hold 2. Continue 3 more cycles on your own. When you have finished, no rush. Breathing naturally, sit and just notice anything you feel. As you continue to breathe naturally, I'm going to invite you into a restorative pose, our last one, which you could remain in for Shavasana. So if you need to relieve stress from your feet, lower body, bring more blood flow into your pelvis and digestive organs, I invite you into legs up the wall pose, which I'll quickly demonstrate, where you could lie on your back, glutes touching the wall, legs up the wall, and place a block under your sacrum like this. You could also open up the legs, bend the knees apart, soles of the feet together. A lot of nourishment for the organs within the pelvic region. If you've been carrying a lot of stress in your shoulders and rounding your back and your breath might feel shallow, I invite you into a heart opening, 2 blocks, supported fish. Tallest block at the rear of the mat for the back of your head. Second level medium block across the width of the mat. Space the blocks apart in a way that when you keep the pelvis on the ground, maybe you have a pillow under the backs of the knees as you stretch the legs straight out. You can lean back and find the area just beneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades to land on the closest edge of the closest block, allowing your shoulders to drop down into the space between the blocks so that your chest feels buoyant and expansive while you turn your palms to face up, down by your sides. Back of the head is resting on the furthest block, and it should feel comfortable. So choose your restorative posture in which you might stay in for Shavasana so that you can be there for a full 5 minutes. Make any adjustments so that you can comfortably let go of effort in the breath, in the body, and really just touch into that space of stillness inside of you. And once you have arrived, mentally arrive, being in each moment of the breath without controlling the breath. Letting this moment be a spiritual practice. resting where you are. Continue to embrace stillness and just listen, observe, feel your body. What feels most alive in your body here right now? Notice the sensations. Feel each subtle movement you take. Connect with your natural breathing and begin with something really small to start to move your body. Maybe you rub fingertips together. Maybe you wiggle toes. Letting one very small movement inspire a slightly larger movement, little by little. Keeping the tone of slow and steady, intentional and present, without rushing. Gradually begin to turn over onto your right side and let your head rest for a few moments as you lie on your side. Sense what you can feel in your breathing. How is your breathing letting you know about your energy? Does your energy feel any different since you arrived in this practice? Continue to cultivate curiosity. And as you begin to press your hands into the floor and very slowly, very gently lift your body up, find a way you can sit for meditation, closing the eyes if that works, maybe bringing thumb and index fingers to touch, sitting tall and relaxed, and resting your awareness very softly on the feeling of the breath naturally coming in and out. Being just so interested in the present moment. That any thoughts that pull you away from the present moment, luring you into the past or into the future, become less relevant. You're more interested in what's happening right now in the subtleties and depth of the present moment. Feel the posture of your body in this present moment. Feel the expression on your face in this present moment. Feel the way breath is flowing in this present moment. Just being alive to what's here now. And without judgment, sense the energy of your heart and your mind in this present moment. Notice if your inner being, your heart wisdom, has a message for you right now. Maybe a message of love, encouragement. Listen in. Giving yourself pauses to listen in is one of the most valuable ways that you can release stress. Holding compassionate space for yourself. Invite you to take another moment to choose something or someone to appreciate right now. Letting gratitude expand your heart just a little bit more. Keeping your heart lifted and light. Maybe bowing in towards it. Remind yourself of your intention that you'll bring with you even after this practice. And remember to whom you dedicated this practice. As we close, connecting with our Mother Earth, using our voices, chanting Om 3 times, let in a deep breath. Om. 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 As you bow in, honoring the light within, remember to connect to that light often. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.